Hello, my name is Bolts. This is my AGDQ 2019 submission video for Slime Rancher. Category used to be glitchless, but it's now just plain any percent due to one of the only glitch that separated them being sleepwalking was patched out. So this is basically Slime Rancher any percent, though my splits still say glitchless. So we'll just start this off right now. Slime Rancher. Oh, I don't start my splits now. Slime Rancher is a fairly decently well-known game. And the any percent run, a lot of people don't know that there's even an ending to this game since it is very open-ended with the different things you can do, and kind of doesn't handhold you too much, but there is a way to access the credits, which is the goal for pretty much most of the runs for this game. So at the very beginning, we are going to try to collect 30 different pieces of food to feed a Gordo, and Gordos are just these large slimes that if you feed them enough food, they're going to explode and they're going to give you a key which allows you to access new areas. We actually have to open 5 of these slime gates in order to finish the game, because it's one of the triggers that allows for the final message to arrive, which triggers the credits. But getting the 30 pieces of food is pretty easy. For other Gordos, since each of these slimes are different, have different diets, each of these Gordos will have different favorite foods that they'll be eating. So we're actually going to have this routed specifically in a way where we're going to be getting favorite foods for a few other Gordos, which will make them easier to feed. If you feed it its favorite food, it's going to take half as much food to fully feed it. So there's some interesting stuff with that. So now we have a key which we're going to use to get to the Moss Blanket, not Moss Garden. There are ways to get around using keys to get into certain areas. Since we have to use 5 keys anyways, there's no reason to try to get around this gate or do anything really like that, since we will be coming back through here again a second time as well. But our main goal right now is we're going to need a lot of money. Sometimes boxes will randomly spawn there. They're not really necessary, but they give you a little bit extra money if you break them. And you have to wait for that door anyways. But right now our goal is that we need to get about 2,400 coins, or I don't remember the specific name of the currency in the game, but we're going to be trying to get 2,400 coins at least. So if we get 3,000, we can get a additional upgrade, which lets us run for a little bit longer. You'll see that the energy bar in the bottom left is dictating how long we can run, and then we have to stop. So managing that is actually fairly important. So right now I'm just trying to collect 5 of these honey plorts right here. So we're actually going to feed one of these. He's being a little silly. Oh, he's already eaten, that's why he's not going to eat it. Alright, so we'll just grab these ones here instead. We only need 5. So once we get 5, we are pretty set off for the run. Though we can go with less than that if luck is not on our side. Luck does not really play a huge role in being able to finish the run. This run's fairly consistent. These boom slimes, you don't always get 5 of them. Sometimes you get a smaller amount, like 3 that we got here. But this is still something you can make do with. No matter what happens, we're still going to be planting these mint mongos here. And whatever boom slimes we've gotten, we can just place over here. And we're going to give each of them one of these honey plorts. Plorts are just what spawns when you feed one of these slimes. And you can sell them for money, which is the entire reason we had that trip. So we are gonna sleep for a couple days, and because we put those boom slimes right next to the garden, they're actually gonna eat while we're sleeping. So we're gonna sleep a couple days. We're gonna gather some of these plorts up from them. The prices for each of these is a little bit random, but it's within a certain range, so the chances of anything going horribly wrong pretty much 0. And even if you don't get good prices, this is pretty average prices. Even if you don't get really good prices, there's no reason you can't just sleep for extra days. We're gonna plant this right here. I'm actually gonna try to get to be a little bit more before I go to sleep again. Then after that, actually I'm gonna feed you, and then we are gonna go straight to bed another time. And we'll just sleep for one more day this time. And again, while we're sleeping, they're gonna eat a little bit more. They're actually giving us a lot more plorts this time, which is nice. Probably need another 20. We're actually gonna start getting rid of them. We don't need all of these guys. We need at least one of them by the end, but we'll save a couple. Again, just for a little bit of extra safety. So I think they've given us enough cash to complete the run at this point. Almost, but we can gather a couple extra more. This is a case where, like, we didn't get any amazing prices, but this is still a run that'll easily be able to be completed. We're gonna just toss it over here. We're gonna collect some of these mint mangos, which we're gonna need for later. And then we're gonna come over. Actually, let's get these upgrades now, before I forget. We're gonna get these dash boots, which is gonna allow us to run a little bit faster. Jetpack, which is important for a few things we'll be doing later. There's a slime jump we'll be doing. And we'll also be doing, we'll be using the extra storage for storing more food, since we have 2 more slimes we're gonna need to feed. Actually, I need to sleep for 1 extra day, I believe. I don't think I'm gonna get enough or Q berries from this. Yeah, we're just 1 short. We're actually gonna get rid of this guy so he doesn't eat it, and then we'll sleep for 1 more day. Yeah, we just want to make sure to get rid of that pink slime, because pink slimes will eat the food while you're sleeping, and if you mix 2 slimes together, which is these larger slimes that we've created, and then they try to eat a plort from another slime that they're not a part of, that's going to cause them to turn into tars, which potentially can mess up the route. So we just make sure to clear out the pink slimes to avoid that happening. So if that does happen, there's no reason we can't just get another boom slime and give it another honey plort. So really not too much of an issue. So now we're going to be going into this little cave right here, and we're going to be feeding the phosphor gordo here some more food so we can get a key. We're going to need the key to get to the ancient gate, which I'll explain a little bit later. But since Q berries are actually the favorite food of phosphor slimes, we actually need 25 instead of the 50. We're going to check these. Unfortunately, we did not get any carrots, but that is perfectly fine. There's no reason that's going to mess us up at all. All we're going to do is come down here and get a tabby plort. We're actually going to take one of these pink plorts. We're just going to look for a rock slime. Fortunately, rock slime did not spawn here, but we can still look over in this area we just passed by and try to find another one. So usually you find one there, but it's pretty much guaranteed to be here. So we're actually going to feed him one of our, oops, I want this. Feed him one of our mint mangos. And the reason we could do that is that if you cross a rock slime with a pink slime, since pink slimes can eat anything, when you cross slimes together, they can actually eat anything from either slime's diets. So if you do have issues like that is pretty much the least optimal way of that happening. Like, you don't get carrots from those boxes like we did, and the rock slimes don't spawn where they usually do, but still, it wasn't much of a detour just to go back and get the rock plorts, so it's not really an issue. But either way, we're going to be taking these over to the ancient gate I was mentioning before. We only need 1 of each of these, but having some additional ones just in case you accidentally miss, so you don't have to go chase after it, isn't the worst thing in the world. So again, we're using the key here. The ancient gate is required because we actually just need to open it because it triggers a star mail arriving, which you need to get in a chain of star mails. If you don't get one of them, it won't let you get the ones that come after it. So we have to open it. You can't go around it any sort of way. Shooting that one there is fairly difficult, but if you miss it, it's not fairly difficult. It's decently difficult for me, but if you mess it up, it's just you have to just go after it. It's not the worst thing in the world. Either way. The ancient gate, beyond it, is where the final note of the game we need to read is, and that by reading that note, that's how we're going to access the credits. So obviously getting beyond there is pretty important, but we need 6 plorts to do it, which, as you can see with our inventory, since we're not going to upgrade our inventory at any point during this run, It's important to make sure to make these trips count when we go by it. Just grab this key. We don't need anything else. And we just do an emergency return, which just sends us straight back home, which... Is it an extra? Oh yeah, no we don't. Which just takes us back here. We lose all our items, but it's not too big of an issue since we didn't have any anyways. We don't lose the keys that we gathered regardless. So we are going to get the tank upgrade, which allows us to hold 40 different pieces of food, because right now we need to gather up 106 out of these things that we have here. I'm just going to gather up these pogo fruit. As long as we have more than 30, we're fine. If we don't, we can just plant a pogo fruit tree at one of the different areas. Hey, thank you for the host. Sorry, I'm doing GDQ commentary right now, so apologies if I don't catch everything. But either way, right now we're gathering up a little bit of food. Like I said, we just need 106 total, and this should be more than enough for us. So the reason we kept these large slimes with us is because since we need to have 3 of our inventory slots full of food to have the 106 we need, because we're going to be feeding 2 more Gordos, we only have 1 inventory slot open for holding plorts. And since we need to still put 3 more plorts into the ancient gate, a way around that is if we carry this guy with us, we can actually feed him at a later time, and he's going to give us the 2 additional plorts we need. Alright, so we're gonna run this way. I'm gonna see if any carrots spawn here. Unfortunately none did. Just because we're off the cycle a little bit. Usually arrive here on a different day, and carrots are pretty much guaranteed to be there. But most of the time they get eaten before you get there, regardless. I didn't talk about it before, but you can do slime jumps, which you bounce the slime off the ground, you jump off of it. No, I didn't need to do that. So again, we're gonna do the same thing we did before. We're gonna feed a pink plort to another slime so it can eat anything we want, and then we just feed it one of our mint mangos. And then we have the rad plort we need. That is the last one we need, other than the 2 that we're gonna get from feeding this guy. We actually want this guy to be hungry by the time we get there, so you specifically keep them in the little corral that's on the farm for a few days. So anyways, we are heading over to this one. Again, we do need to open 5 ancient gates, but 5 of these slime gates, so that's why, even though we already opened 1 way to get to this ancient gate that's here, there's no reason, or we have to open this other one, just because in total we have to open 5. Alright, we're gonna feed him. Should give us honey plorts and boom plorts. Put 1 here. We're just gonna leave him be. He's just gonna sit here for the rest of the run. Just have a nice time of it. So the difficult part of this run is that the 2 Gordos we have to feed beyond here, since we have to feed 5 total. And it just works out that these are the 2 we end up feeding. Each of these are going to take 50 because since we don't have their favorite food, both of their favorite foods are only found beyond this gate. And it'd be extremely slow to go back, like get their favorite food, go back, grow it, and then come back and feed it to them. So we have to just bring 100 pieces of food instead. Another thing we have to take into account is we actually have to get 5 quantum plorts, which are from quantum slimes, which again are also only found here. So we have to bring another 5 pieces of fruit for that. We just didn't have enough energy, so go a little bit long way around. But getting the 100 or so pieces of food is not too difficult. Again, like I was talking about before, the crops are a little random in terms of how much they give you, but it's nothing that sleeping an extra day cannot solve. So make sure to grab this key, give them 5 Mongos. Get a few extra ones since those boxes had some extra food as well. I mean, I should do a little bit of a slime jump off these right here, which will save us a little bit of energy so we can sprint all the way over here. Managing your energy is actually a fairly large part of the run. It's not something that's easy to tell like first watching, but when you start doing runs, it's definitely something you have to take into account. Managing pretty well. Since we only need 5, we have 8, I can actually just try to snipe this from over here. Didn't quite get it. But once. You also have to be careful because the little bumps on the side there can cause your whatever you're shooting to just fly up in the air instead of where you're aiming. You also have to be a little bit careful with the portal as well, just because if you do enter it like exactly when it starts, it does seem to be a little buggy, and it won't. One of the requirements for having one of these star mail arrive is entering that portal, and if you enter it right as it activates, it actually doesn't trigger that from happening, which is a bit strange, but it's very difficult to do even on purpose, and it's nothing that delaying like a fraction of a second will fix. This is the last Gordo we're going to be feeding. We're just going to get rid of the rest of our food. We have definitely a decent bit extra. And now we have the last key we need, so this will be the 5th and final slime gate we have to open as we go through the glass desert. Like I said before, we're doing all this to get to a note that's at the end. In reading that's going to allow us to get to the credits. Beyond this is just managing energy, since we've already managed all the fruit and all the food from before, and we have everything we need. Like I said previously, you can get an energy upgrade if you do have some pretty forgiving luck. You can also use these to do a little slime jump off of if they spawn. They don't always spawn, and you can grab some of the dervish gordos instead, and you do that, and that can help you out. Besides that, pretty much we are getting towards the end of the run with this for Slime Rancher. Just beyond this door should be the note. There's all these different notes you're supposed to be reading along with it, but only the final one is what's going to cause you to actually hit that flag and allow the game to end. So we're just going to emergency exit back home so we don't have to make that 5-minute journey back. And now the final part of the run goes by pretty quickly. Just have to read through some of the mail that we've had backed up during this. So pretty much we're just taking about a 9 or 10 day nap and reading mail and then immediately going back to sleep. But hopefully some of the charm of the run and some of the interesting routing decisions and kind of being very flexible with how you do the run and just a lot of the stuff with the run in terms of that came across fairly well. Because this was definitely not like a perfect run. Definitely randomness is not going to affect you getting to the end of the run. It's not going to affect you finishing it. So hopefully that's come across pretty well. Hopefully, like I said, a lot of the humor and just like the fun of it as well. And that is the end of the run. But yeah, I'd be really excited to do Slime Rancher for AGDQ 2019. Definitely, I think for it's about a 20-minute run, fairly consistent with pretty much everything going on with it. And I'd really love to show it off, but thank you for considering it.
Oh, please don't say that you